Today, we talk about the dark side of junk removal, why people leave junk removal to teach, and the pros and cons of junk removal. What's up, guys? My name is Andrew. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a software engineer, and a junk removal business owner. I started a junk removal business as a stepping stone to return to my passion of technology and apps. I invite you guys to stick around, hang out, follow me on my journey from becoming a junk removal business titan to building a $1 billion home services app, and that is true. I want to talk about the live virtual junk event followed by the in-person event. This will be a live streaming event that's on my YouTube channel. This is not just going to be any junk removal event. This is going to be the junk removal event of the century, of the decade. Dispatch will be going in beta, so this is going to be a software announcement to let you guys know the software's out, talk about the software, why we're different than everybody else, and why I'm so excited to bring this junk removal software to you guys. It is going to be the CRM, FSM that changes everything. It's going to help you grow, manage, and scale your business. I am very excited to share this software, but what I want to talk about, what else is in this event, guys, is I'm going to be dropping some insane content in this event. It might be just as good as my course, if not better. And I really don't want to stress enough, guys, that you make the live virtual event, because if you make the live virtual event, you are eligible for the giveaway and all of the goodies that I'm going to be giving away. A lot of stuff. One of the things I'm going to be giving away is a brand new dump trailer, somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 brand new dump trailer, and we're going to give it away live. This is not a sales pitch course. There's nothing to sell. Everything is going to be given for free, and of course my software, there will be a free trial and all that stuff too. But all the goodies and content, the dump trailer, possibly a truck, for free. No catches, no gimmicks, no nothing. I won't announce the speakers just yet. I'll wait till we get closer. The live event will probably take around 12 p.m. and then the live event will probably be around 4 or 5 p.m. in person in Los Angeles, close to me, where we can all mingle for a few hours, get to know each other, talk, discuss strategies, and just shoot the shit. I hope tons of you make it to the live virtual event, and if you happen to be close by somewhere in California, I hope you make the in-person event. I'm thinking this is going to change the home services industry completely, but definitely the junk removal industry. I am very passionate about junk removal because I have been doing it, so this is very close to my heart. So I am going to disrupt the junk removal industry. So please register for the live event so you can be notified, you can get updates, and you don't miss it. It is going to be incredible. Today is a video that I've been debating if I wanted to put out there. I've always wanted to do a pros and cons, but this is gonna be a serious pros and cons of things I've learned along the way and discovered with junk removal. And I want to preface this. This is in my experience, okay? What I'm saying might not be the same for other junk removal business owners, but this is what I've come to learn about junk removal. I'll timestamp it below if you guys start to get very depressed and feeling the negative energy of all the cons. You can listen to a little bit of the cons and fast forward to the light at the end of the tunnel, because we're gonna really dive deep. No fairy tales here, no rainbows, no sunshines. It's time to cut the shit and talk about the realities, the dark side of junk removal. Why do people stop? If junk removal is so great, why do people leave junk removal and teach? Why do they leave junk removal and then go perform services for people? They only do ads, they only do consulting, they do coaching, they do courses, they do SEO. Why do they only sell courses now? Obviously I'm still doing junk removal, but I do have a course. I'm not saying I don't. I am one of those course guys. I don't have millions for my course. I'm not killing the game with my course. Guys, I need to stress this enough, and I say this in all of my videos. I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, but there is a hard reality and a hard truth about junk removal that you don't know, that I've experienced, and it is a very, very hard reality. A lot of people see the make $1,000 headline, right? All over the internet. Prior to me, there was make $1,000 a day, make $2,000 a day, make $20,000 a month. And that's great. And you can absolutely make that gross. But then what you don't realize is the liabilities that come with this business. Trucks, maintenance, insurance, and then if you take it to the next level and you actually be a legit player, payroll taxes, workers' compensation. If you're trying to float under the radar and do things illegally and 1099 and subcontract all your people, okay, you can save California, you'd save 17% of what your labor cost is. 17.5% for workers' comp and payroll taxes. We don't need to get into the numbers. It's very expensive. So what happens is you hit the 50K, you hit the 100K, I'm doing 50 to 100K. And then you realize, holy shit, my liabilities go up drastically. And then in order to truly scale, you either need both A and B. A, great credit. B, tons of cash in the bank. So in order to start scaling and break that $1 million barrier, or whatever level, maybe they're doing $500,000, where they got one truck running or two trucks, to get past that level requires credit and capital. And then you got to play by the rules. You got to play by the book. You got to do workers' comp, you got to do payroll, trucks start breaking down, employees break their legs, shit happens. And then you start to realize, holy, this is a lot harder to scale than I expected. And then what they do is, because they hit 20K a month or 30K a month, or they had 10K a month consistently for 6 months, and they hit that plateau, they leave and they teach. Is there a problem with that? No. Is there a secret that people don't talk about? Because hitting this empire, and guys, I don't want to dissuade or push you away from this, because it is absolutely possible to still scale and do $1 million a year. And I'm trying to break that barrier, get past $1 million a year. Not to mention, guys, when you jump into this business, it's not like before. You cannot get organic leads. They don't fall into your lap. The game has changed. It is getting more saturated. But the problem is you don't realize how much, unless you're hustling, people who built from the ground up and hustled for years and got commercial contracts and got realtor connections, they start getting that organic stuff, and you do SEO and you survive that 1 to 2 years in business, 3 years. Honestly, it's going to take 3 years for those organic to really keep you busy, right? Without having to pay for leads. And that's just not the reality for most people. So when you jump in, especially today, you have to pay on Thumbtack, you have to pay on Yelp, you have to pay on Google, you have to pay on Facebook, and you don't realize how much money you have to spend on ads if you want a full schedule. You want to stay consistently busy, because you don't want to take the time to build the business and build the foundation the old school traditional way. You need leads now. You're trying to make money. It's expensive. And then if you're playing by the book, payroll taxes, workers' compensation, commercial auto insurance, maintenance on your trucks if they break down, you might be at 10% margins. You don't realize that in the beginning when you start this. You just see the magical number at the top of every headline and make $1,000 a day. And it's true. You can get on Facebook and get social media and free leads and hustle and do some yard signs and just kind of owner operator, get your way through and make $1,000 a day and do really good for yourself and just kind of fly under the radar. Maybe you have a helper, you don't have like an employee. We're gonna get to the pros later, but I wanted to be honest about this. So in order to grow in this business, one truck has a limit of how much you can make in your area. For example, in Los Angeles, one truck running 7 days a week can technically peak 70K a month, and it'll average about 40 to 60 a month. It'll average gross, and that sounds like great and all, but if it's running full time in workers' comp, employees, payroll taxes, running ads, your margins are not gonna be the 40, 50, 60% as owner operator. That truck forever is stuck at 500K. That's on average what it'll make out here in LA, maybe different in other states. So to grow, you launch another truck, but to launch another truck, you need good credit. You don't wanna buy used crappy trucks, because if you want that truck running full time with employees 7 days a week so that it can make tons of money, you need to have a full set of employees, payroll taxes, workers' comp, you gotta be running ads, and you need a new truck, and the new truck is 100K, and getting a commercial loan is not easy if you have bad credit. So then you have 2 trucks running, you hit $1 million, now what? You need a 3rd truck. But in order to have 3 trucks running in 3 locations, you gotta have backup trucks too, because if one of the trucks goes down, your employees are out of work. So what I'm getting at is, the more employees you add, the more locations you have to launch, the more ad spend, the more liability, the more insurance, the more everything. So it starts to really stack. So if you're not in a position to grow an empire with good credit and some cash in the bank, it's gonna be very hard to scale. That's kind of the crossroads that I'm at right now, guys. That is the problem that I'm at, that I'm trying to figure out right now. And I'm just being honest with you guys. I got some notes here, freestyling for you guys, just telling you the reality of what I've learned. And we're gonna talk now about the cons. I want you guys to realize that these cons that we're about to talk to is in relation to my current experience of teaching you guys how to scale and build an empire. These are not the cons related to just being a one-man show, getting started, making a quick buck. A lot of people get into this to make a quick buck, and that's fine, but some people see the future, the vision. They want to build an empire. They want 5 trucks, they want 10 trucks. We all aspire to get off the truck, and there's levels of getting off the truck. There's just getting off the truck and kind of getting in there when you need, and then there's getting off the phones, getting off the truck, having a business where you can go on vacation and the business runs itself. Big difference. We're talking about what I'm trying to do and scale. So let's get to the cons, guys. Con number one, operations is a lot harder than you think when you're trying to scale this business. Dealing with employees and trucks and maintenance, tires popping, payroll taxes, workers' compensation. The more trucks you add, the operations tend to get a lot harder. Trucks breaking down, you got employees, you got hiring, you got firing, you've got all kinds of things with operations in this business. And I've just got 2 trucks running. I wanted to be corporate and have multiple locations and stay Jedi junk removal and not franchise, but I'm starting to see why people franchise. It's already stressful enough maintaining 2. I can run 3 trucks, 5 trucks, maybe 10 trucks and have, some operations managers, but it's a lot, guys. The operations is a little bit harder than you're gonna be expecting if you're trying to grow and scale into an empire. Con number 2, you need good credit, and if you don't have good credit, you need a lot of cash in the bank. This is a frustration for me right now. Yes, you can buy used trucks, you could, make some money and then, save up by the end of the year, get like, maybe you have $20,000, $30,000 and you want to buy a used truck. But the reality is when you scale and you're running a business that runs itself with employees and you're doing things by the book, payroll taxes, worker comp, and you have employees dependent and relying on you to feed their families, you're not going to put them in a 2007 beat up 170,000 mile truck. Okay, you need to finance a brand new dump truck, and it's going to be dump trucks. It's not going to be trucks and trailers. You have to keep being able to finance each new truck for each new location you want to add. At the end of the day, guys, you need cash or great credit. And that is one of the frustrations that I dealt with was I bought these used trucks. Man, oh man, maintenance ate me up. It really beat me up on these used trucks. Con number 3, guys, is if you're just getting into this business and you're trying to grow an empire, we all want to grow and run a business that runs itself. So you can go on vacation for a month and it runs itself. So we sacrifice 3 to 5 years in the hopes that we can do that. And then you realize, oh shit, these leads aren't just falling into my lap. And then you realize you have to spend a damn good amount of money if you want to keep that truck running full time, because you're not gonna have 500 leads a month just coming to you. The expenses are high. Ads are expensive. Everything's expensive in this business. Google ads and Yelp ads are expensive too. Facebook ads are probably the cheapest. To be honest, you can probably get more bang for your buck with Facebook ads if you run Facebook ads correctly, but you're not gonna get leads immediately, but you gotta spend a lot. Con number 4, guys, the expenses are high in this business. And this is kind of related to the previous one, ad expenses. Out here in Los Angeles, dump gas, that's 15% of your revenue. And then maintenance just always happens. It feels like I'm constantly paying for something in this business. A tire pops, getting a truck towed. Can't use AAA because they're dump trucks. I end up paying $700 to get it towed. How to replace the catalytic converter. The expenses are a lot higher in this business. So when something goes wrong, you need cash. Literally, this November makes 2 years. I've had the F-150, 100, brand new, out the store. Brand new F-150 V8, can tow 15,000 pounds. The F-150 has been great, by the way, but it finally, the rear differentials went out and that cost me $4,000. And I put 105,000 miles in 2 years. That is over 50,000 miles every year. Point is, guys, expenses are high in this business. Number 5, liability. Liability in this business is tough. It is much higher than you expect. I'm gonna be talking about LA and I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. I had an employee before I did workers' comp. This is me just cruising, coasting and trying to cruise under the radar with 1099. Might have been over a year, might have been, I don't know, somewhere around the first year, but he breaks his leg. So he hired a law firm. They sued me for not having workers' comp. Honestly, I was pretty reckless with that because I didn't know what to do. Workers' compensation, that is a liability. So if you try to subcontract your employees and they hurt themselves, oh boy, they're coming after you. You have to always make sure you have good drivers with good records. And even then, your commercial auto is probably gonna be $1,000 a month for one dump truck. When you add more dump trucks, and then you're gonna have the dump truck payment, and then you're gonna have the commercial auto. You may get better prices. Some people can get as low as $500 a month for a dump truck. Some people I see get as high as $1,500 a month for a dump truck. My dump truck is $715 a month. Don't even get me started about workers' comp in California. It's 10% of what you pay them. On average, my payroll is, let's just call it $20,000 a month. It could be less, it could be more. So I'm paying $2,000 on top for workers' comp, so $22,000. And then on top of that, you have payroll taxes, which is another 7.5% because of W-2 employees. So if you do the math, that's $400, $3,500 in monthly expenses for payroll taxes and workers' compensation. And that's not even including at the end of the year, when you finally calculate everything that you have left, you make $100,000, you make $200,000, and that's after you do all your expenses. You have $200,000 after your advertising expenses, your labor expenses and everything. So you take $200,000, then you start figuring out, okay, what else can I deduct? I can deduct my home office, I can deduct my cell phone bill, I can deduct all these lunches and these foods, and then you try to bust out Section 179, and then you got to spend some of that 200 grand. Point is, the liability gets a lot higher in this business. I used to run a software business before COVID. I was working on a fitness app. I've talked about this probably a little bit in the first video ever on this channel. My business partner and I think we had 8 employees, 10 of us total. We're in a cozy little office. We're sitting on our computers coding. It is a completely different ballgame. Workers' comp is a fraction of the cost. The liability is drastically higher in this business. That is the 5 cons that I have learned in this business, guys. And I know you guys are probably watching this video like, holy f-. And you know, I'm telling you from my experience and trying to scale and where I'm at now. And I didn't want to sell you guys sunshine and rainbows, fairy tales and cotton candy, whatever. I wanted you guys to know the truth. Most people don't think about all this shit when they first get into it. They don't realize commercial auto, payroll taxes, workers' comp, people hurting themselves, people suing you, you getting liens, just the high expenses it costs, the truck maintenance. It's very easy to get into this business and be like, oh shit, I can make $10,000 extra a month, $20,000 extra a month. And you're an owner operator, you jump into this business and you actually start hustling, you put in the work, you put out yard signs, you do some Facebook ads, you do Craigslist, you do everything you can to get leads, and you actually start getting business. You can actually make great money, just you, and then having a helper that you don't need to make a W-2 employee. You can just actually pay them as a 1099, $100 here for a big job, or they come help you. And you could actually pull in 15, 20K gross, and 70% of that possibly be profit. Because the only expenses you can even have minimal advertising spend because you did some groundwork and you're just running a little bit of like Craigslist and maybe a little bit of Thumbtack. You're not paying a drastic amount on ads so that you pull in a bunch right away. That is the whole glamour of this business, is that you can get to that level fairly quick. It is a little harder because it's more competitive now, but let's talk about the pros of why this business is so appealing. And I think most of you are gonna know this and why most people do it. Most people get into this, they need to just make some quick money, they want some side hustle money, and then some people want to actually scale it and take it to the next level, but they don't realize everything we just talked about. But the pros of this, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, no skills required. You can argue me all day in the comments if you want that yes, you need to know how to move and lift and be safety. This is a teachable in one day. I'm not saying that there's no talent or skill in the moving industry. Absolutely using your back and lifting from your legs and not bending over because you can hurt your spine. I get it. There is definitely skill to this, and you gotta have some strength, and you gotta be motivated and a hard worker. You gotta be willing to do physical labor, and you gotta also wear a bunch of hats to run this business. But point is, pro number 1, guys, there's no skills required. You can get on a truck, make some money, okay? That's the reality. Pro number 2, guys, you really don't need anything to enter this business. You can really test the waters and rent a Home Depot truck for $19 for the first 75 minutes. You could literally get one job, and I've done this before. Get the Home Depot truck, unlimited miles, $19, 75 minutes, rush to the first job, be back within 75 minutes. If not, it's like $5 an hour. It's like negligible how much it costs every hour after. Take that Home Depot truck, go to the client, go dump real quick, probably be done in a couple hours, and it'll cost you, I think when I did that one time, it was like $35 and I made $500. You can test the waters with U-Haul, Home Depot, renting trucks from your friends, borrowing from friends or family. And then once you were actually ready to get into this business, you have a shitty interest rate, but you can still get a truck and make the payment worth it. And then you can get a dump trailer with not good credit either, or you can start with a utility trailer as cheap as $500 on Craigslist. So the barrier of entry is very, very low. This is why the industry is blowing up, and why people like me and everybody else are teaching people how to make $1,000 a day, is because this is actually something anybody can do if they're willing to do physical labor. That's the only caveat, right? You can't be too lazy to do this, and you could make good money. That's the thing. That's why this is such a popular business and why everybody's getting into it, which leads into number 3. You can make great money as an owner operator. You can make great money scaling too. Like, don't get me wrong, but we're talking about the pros right now, and the pros are the margins are a lot higher when you're an owner operator. When you start to start scaling and you pull back, of course, in any business, the margins are going to get lower. The more you try to scale and the more you remove yourself to turn it into an actual business, margins get lower. Pro number 4, guys, you can resell and scrap for extra income. So you can take that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 gross you're making a month, and you can make another $2,000 a month from reselling and scrap. I see a lot of people in the Facebook groups. I think Russ Berry did like $100,000 in resale, which is insane. Probably, I think he said 50,000 in scrap. So guys, those are the 4 pros that I can think of that really make this business attractive to why most people get into this business. And another thing I want to get into is, can you build an empire of junk removal without good credit? Without cash in the bank? Short answer is probably not. Unless you're the anomaly and you build your way slowly, very slow, which is fine. Building great things take time. There is no shortcut. I've been in this business for 2 years and 4 months now, and I still haven't broken the barrier. I've hit 1 million, that's awesome. I'm very proud of myself. That's a cool vanity metric that I can tout. Ooh, it's not as impressive as you think it is. Breaking that 1 million and getting past the 3 million is a whole nother ball game. That's where I'm struggling. I can continue to keep saving to buy these dump trucks and, put 50, 70 grand down, whatever, and, rinse and repeat for the next year, try to get another one. But it's gonna be a very slow process till I break 3 million. And remember, that's just gross. So you're not gonna become some gajillionaire from this, which is why people franchise. They take the 10% from everybody else, they sell the business plan, the operations manual, they franchise, and they try to open up 50 locations and collect 10% from all their sales, and then try to become a gajillionaire that way, or a millionaire that way, so they franchise. Let's talk about the teaching thing. Why people leave junk removal and teach. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but most people, they hit this plateau. And I'm just guessing, guys. I'm just guessing, because this is where my mind's at. And I'm like, oh shit, I think I get it now. It's easy to offer courses and, profit off blue collar workers, and it's 100% profit. Because you put in the work. You can make the course, you could run their ads, you could run their SEO, the ball game. You can make way easier money selling a service to 10 people at $1,000 a month and helping them get to where you were at. And you don't have to deal with the operations and the stress of running a junk removal business. And here's the thing, is they are truly helping you, because obviously since you were in the space and they want to learn how to do that, they need somebody to run their ads, do their SEO, build their website, yada, yada, yada. In the home services industry, not many people are tech savvy. It's a lot easier to sell your services if you're tech savvy and you end up knowing how to run Google ads. You start learning how to do SEO, you learn how to build websites. It just makes sense where they're like, you know what, I'm not gonna run the stress of the junk removal business. I'm only making X amount of dollars. I've hit my plateau, I've hit my peak. I'm not gonna scale any further. I don't wanna franchise, I don't wanna do operations. They leave and they teach. And some people even out there, they actually ceased all operations, kept their business, and they sell their leads only. I'll try to put the link below, a guy on YouTube where he does $1 million a year. He just sells his leads or something. And a couple other people I've seen Facebook groups where they kept their junk removal business, but they just actually sell their leads off and they don't even do junk removal anymore. So that is why I've noticed, or why I think most people leave to teach. Let me say this, guys. Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Not trying to make this a negative video, but it's time you guys get slapped with a little reality. Here's my take. You must love running and operating this kind of business. If you are doing this business now and you love what you're doing, you can scale this. You must love running a home services business. You must love working close with your employees, being involved in this business. You need to love doing this, because you are not going to get past the $1 million mark if you do not love running operations and dealing with trucks, reselling, scrapping, and wearing a lot of hats in this business. Without good credit, guys, you got to accept the fact that you're probably going to cap at $500,000 a year. You could try to buy used trucks and scale that way. It's going to be a dangerous game to play, but if you cannot finance new trucks, it's going to be a lot harder to scale without good credit. With that being said, guys, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, as an owner-operator, you guys can crush it, make a lot of money. Also, I want to say this, guys. This is my take. This is where I'm stuck. This is what I'm trying to figure out. And I wanted to be honest with you guys. You guys might have like, oh, Andrew, you're wrong. There's another solution. There's another way. And that's fine. I wanted you guys to hear where I'm at and what I'm thinking. I mean, these are all the lessons I've learned in the last 2 years and 4 months that I've been in business, and I've done over $2 million in gross sales. I thought that it's time for you guys to hear the truth. That's why I think building an empire in junk removal is a little bit harder than I expected, which is why everyone franchises or teaches. I'd love to see someone grow a junk removal business without franchising, didn't have good credit. So if anybody, I would love to interview you. If there's anybody out there who has bad credit and surpassed the $3 million mark, please hit me up. I hope that opens up your eyes a little bit. This video is not meant to discourage you at all. This is just to make you aware of what you are getting into. If you're trying to be an owner operator, great. You'll make phenomenal money. If you're trying to build an empire and you want to grow this business into an empire, do your research. Find somebody with good credit, have a business partner who has an 800 credit score. By the way, there's exceptional people out there. There are incredibly talented people. This is doable with bad credit. I don't want to discourage you, but now you are aware of everything, of all the negative and all the things that I went through, so you know what might come along with bad credit and trying to scale this business. So anyways, guys, I leave you with this. Success is often covered in dirt, but so was gold at one point. Toodles! Let's tell you my story real quick. I've always been a software engineer my entire life. I started programming when I was 10 years old, but I started with HTML on AOL 3.0, and they would teach you basic HTML tags. So I was learning this shit at 10 or 11 years old. Then I just slowly progressed and started building more websites, learning PHP, learning databases like MySQL and all that stuff. The last app that I was working on was a travel app. I raised $150,000 from investors, and that was actually right before COVID hit. It was a travel app meant to travel with friends across the world, the globe, and they didn't even want you to hang out with your family. I kept telling the investors, it's gotta go away someday. I have the app semi-ready to go. You know, we wanted to start doing beta testing, but nobody wanted to fly, let alone pay for this new experimental travel app that I was trying to show to the world. Me and my lady had our second kid, newborn, and we're burning down to our last few $1,000s. And it's getting to a point where I'm like, we need money now. So one of my friends I was talking to, and he's like, dude, I used to do junk removal. I looked into it, I Googled it, I found Sonoma Strong, $1,000 a day, Steve Conroy, $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, and I was like, $1,000 a day. Started with Thumbtack, started with Craigslist, got to Google Ads probably by month one or like the end of month one, month two, I think. Went from 200 a day to 500 a day to 1,000 a day. From there, it's just been incredible. This is a great industry. If you're stuck and you need to figure out how to make some extra money, you can grow this into a very profitable business. You can do very well for yourself. I'm doing very well for myself. It takes a lot of work outside of the labor part, the marketing part, the hiring part. Everything is hard. It has potential. It is a very easy-ish, predictable path to make money. The service industry is so much easier to get into because it requires just your time, and everybody's gonna need this service, okay? You trade your time for money. It doesn't matter if it's landscaping, moving, junk removal. There are so many home services that you can get into that don't require a skill. People need this home service. So getting into the services business is a very safe, predictable, slow growth path, but very doable. That is the beautiful thing about junk removal. So guys, if you want to check out the course and you want your A to Z on how to build a junk removal business, check it out in the link below.